Yo, what's going on, buddy? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In today's video, what we're discussing is we're talking about the Los Angeles Chargers and what the fuck are they doing. Over the past couple weeks in free agency, they've made some, I would say, questionable moves that we have got to talk about. More or less with the fact that Jim Harbaugh, the new head coach, came into this team. We were thinking, okay, pretty good team, pretty good loaded roster, and now with Jim Harbaugh there, this team has no reason to fail. But then in the first couple of months of him already being there, he's already now traded his number one receiver in Keenan Allen to the Chicago Bears for a 4th round pick. He then released Mike Williams, probably the best number 2 receiver in the entire league, and released his Pro Bowl running back. But then with that, he's went on to then restructure some contracts with Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, got some reworked numbers, salary cap wise. And the big question is, what the fuck is he doing? Because now Justin Herbert doesn't have any help. Who's he going to throw the ball to? Who's he going to hand the ball off to? What is Jim Harbaugh's plan going forward? And I want to kind of tell everybody, just kind of relax, because I see the vision of what Jim Harbaugh is doing, and I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty smart. So without further ado, we're gonna get straight into this. So if you're going to enjoy it, as always, make sure you can drop a like onto this video. Be very much appreciated if you do so. But without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, first up, before we go any further, this website you're going to be seeing here, this is spottrack.com. I'll put a link to it down in the description below. But you can pretty much see every single move that the Los Angeles Chargers have made. I went ahead and pulled it up, Los Angeles Chargers, NFL transactions, all the moves that they made. Hell, we'll go all the way back to March 5th. Now, let's look at some of the moves that they made. Let's go all the way back to whenever, hell, Jim Harbaugh was hired. He got hired, the GM was hired. And let's look at some of the moves they made. Well, they got some linebackers. They signed Gus Edwards, the running back from the Ravens, brought him over. So, Jim Harbaugh, what is something he likes to do? He likes to run the ball. Gus Edwards, he's a hard-nosed runner in my opinion, whereas Austin Eckler, he was more finesse, get around guys. That's kind of what his thing was. And I think with Jim Harbaugh, he's trying to bring his philosophy from Michigan and bring it into the Chargers. When you look at all these signings, it makes sense as to what he's doing. Like I said, Gus Edwards, Will Dissly, bringing in a pretty good tight end, somebody to come in there and help out. Now, could they go after it in the draft like guys like a Brock Bowers? Possibly. They're going through releasing a couple of guys, and Andrew Trainer and AJ Uzadinme, I think is how you say the name. But like I said, release Mike Williams, probably the best number 2 wide receiver in the entire league. Then Joey Bosa gets his contract restructured, because what is something they also like to do in Michigan? They had a very stout defense, had good edge rushers, had a good D-line, so you got to keep that intact. They go out and sign a defensive end and Poona Ford. Then once again, release Keenan Allen, traded him for a 4th round pick to the Chicago Bears. They go out and they get another tight end and Hayden Hurst. I think Hayden Hurst is probably an underrated tight end in the league in my opinion. Then they go out and they do something else, which is called get physical with the team. Denzel Perryman, a linebacker, get him signed, just a 1-year deal. Bradley Bozeman, a center rotational guy, of kind of a depth piece in the center position. And then Troy Dye, a linebacker, once again, just another depth piece. And it seems like the way the signings are kind of going, like it shows. Linebackers, offensive linemen, defensive alignment, they're trying to get physical with the way of how the game's going. You saw the way Michigan played last year, the entire regular season, all the way to the Ohio State game against Washington in the national championship. They were always the most physical team. They were always punching you in the face. They ran the ball. The defense suffocated you. That was what they did. He brought his defensive coordinator over from Michigan from last season, so he's obviously going to have to draft every single player, or get draft and get guys in free agency of players that he likes to coach. And when it comes to the offense, everybody always, like I said, flipped out whenever we saw Mike Williams and Keenan Allen going, which I still think is very stupid. But when it comes to Justin Herbert, here's the thing with what they're doing. Last year, they won a national championship with J.J. McCarthy. Now, J.J. McCarthy, he's been getting some lead up and some hype to go into the first round of this year's NFL draft. But now imagine what that offense did last year, but you have a Justin Herbert type talent. That's where they're kind of going this season. Imagine a Chargers offense that can run the hell out of that ball. Imagine a Chargers offense that they can beef up the offensive line. They can get that offensive line just pushing people around. They can get holes filled. They can get a good running back there. And it doesn't have to be an amazing running back. Gus Edwards can very solidly get you about 800 to 1,000 yards a season. Like I said, if they can get the run game going, and then if they can just get some good-ish receivers. Right now, the guys they have, Joshua Palmer, Quentin Johnson, those guys I don't really know about. Palmer, I kind of trust. Johnson, that man has bricks for hands. They got to get the wide receiver room fixed. Like I said, 5th overall pick. Could they go after a Brock Bowers? Maybe. Could they go after a Malik Neighbors? Could Marvin Harrison Jr. possibly fall all the way to 5 if a team decides to trade up with number 4? There's been rumors about the Arizona Cardinals possibly trading out of 4. Maybe a team goes up to 4, gets a quarterback. Who knows? I kind of wonder with the Chargers what they're going to do in the draft as well with that number 5 overall pick. Like I said, do they take a Malik Neighbors? Do they take a Marvin Harrison Jr.? Do they take a Brock Bowers? Hell, do they go defense? Do they take a Dallas Turner? They could go a lot of different ways with this draft pick. But the overall thing with all the Chargers fans, you need to realize, just relax. I think Jim Harbaugh has a pretty solid plan going. Like I said, he's going for physicality, he's going for running the ball, and he just wants to do a lot of play action. He wants to fool some people. He doesn't want his receivers, I think, to really be the main focal point. We saw last year with Roman Wilson being the only receiver on that Michigan team that I fucking remember the name of. That Michigan team, what they do, they always had at least one solid receiver, and then a lot of really good tight ends and some running backs and a great-ass offensive line. And don't forget the top 5 defense. What is he trying to do with the Los Angeles Chargers? He's trying to make that defense top 5, which I think is kind of funny that we're talking about it being top 5 now versus last season with what in the past couple of seasons with Brandon Staley. He was supposed to be a great defensive-minded coach. Obviously, we saw that plummet. But going forward, I think Jim Harbaugh, he has a good plan. Like I said, make the defense great, get the run game going, and just for the love of God, make sure Herbert can stand straight up. If Herbert can stand straight up, there might be some times where he might honestly call some audibles and say, fuck your run game, I'm going to throw this bitch. And he might get some wide open guys running down the field. Because teams might honestly look at this team, especially in the first like 2 to 3 weeks, they might know what Jim Harbaugh likes to do for Michigan. They might know what he liked to do back in the San Francisco 49ers. Colin Kaepernick, he wasn't a big flashy throw the ball fucking 50 times a game the first few weeks he was there with the 49ers. Jim Harbaugh liked to run the ball even then. So I'm going to kind of wrap it up by saying this. For all the Chargers fans, relax, take a deep breath. You're going to be good. Are you going to make the playoffs next season? I don't know if I go that far, but I think you guys, I realize the past couple seasons you guys have been living in the world of like 6-11 to like maybe 9-8, 10-7, 8-9. That's like your world. I don't know if you're going to be able to get out of that this season. Maybe in 2025, yes, I think you're making the playoffs 1,000%. If you made the playoffs in 2024, I'd be a little bit shocked, but I wouldn't be like baffled or surprised. And it hates me to say this as a Ohio State fan, but I think Jim Harbaugh is going to be a damn good coach in the NFL again. But other than that, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys did go on to enjoy today's video. If you did enjoy, as always, make sure you drop a like on today's video. Be very much appreciated if you do so. If you wanted to watch the entirety of today's video, thank you very much. And like I said, if you have a different opinion, do you think Jim Harbaugh is going to be a good coach, bad coach in the NFL? Hey, if you think these are good moves by trading Keenan Allen and releasing Mike Williams, do you think it's a good move, bad move by him to do this stuff? If you think he's a dumbass, not dumbass, whatever your opinion is on him, leave your complete opinion down in the comment section down below. It'd be more than welcome to talk about with you guys. If you're a fan of the content that I do post here and you want to go and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so. And do not forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified second I post. But without further ado, this has been Donald Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.